All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful way to build wealth, and it comes from financial expert William Bernstein. It's designed for young people, and here's the thing. This isn't about getting rich quick. Nope. This is about a proven strategy to get rich slowly, but for sure.
So let me ask you this. What if I told you there was a simple recipe to not only beat most professional investors, but also to retire a millionaire, and it would only take you about 15 minutes a year? I know, it sounds way too good to be true, right? Well, Bernstein says it's for real.
So, what is this magic recipe? You're probably expecting something super complicated, but it's actually incredibly simple, with just 3 core ingredients.
That's it. That's the whole thing. You start at age 25, you save 15% of what you make, and you split it 3 ways into simple index funds. Once a year, you just pop in and make sure the amounts are still equal. On paper, that's literally all you have to do to build a $1 million nest egg. Pretty easy, huh?
Well, the entire plan, the whole promise of this easy, secure retirement, it all hangs on this one tiny little 2-letter word.
And this, right here, is where the real work actually begins. Because the recipe itself, that's not the secret. The real secret is whether you can actually follow it, year in, year out, through all the crazy ups and downs life is going to throw at you.
And look, as Bernstein himself says, that is a very, very big if. Knowing what to do is one thing, but actually sticking with it for 40 years, that's a completely different ballgame. The hard part isn't knowing the plan, it's doing the plan. Think about it like this. Our parents' generation, a lot of them had pensions. Bernstein calls them investing fat farms, which is kind of funny. But they basically forced you to save and stay disciplined. Well, those are pretty much gone now. So guess what? That whole responsibility, it falls right on your shoulders.
So, if you're actually going to pull this off, you need to know exactly what you're up against. Bernstein points out 5 huge hurdles that trip almost everyone up. So let's walk through them, because learning how to clear these hurdles, that's the real key to success. Yep, 5 of them. These are the 5 big barriers standing between you and a wealthy retirement.
Hurdle number 1 is the most obvious one, right? You just can't invest money that you've already spent. That 15% savings goal, it gets completely eaten alive by all those little lifestyle costs. The best defense is so simple. Pay yourself first. Just automate it. Set it up so that money disappears from your paycheck before you even see it. Okay, next step. You can't win a game if you don't even know the rules. Trying to invest without knowing some basic finance is like trying to fly a 747 without any lessons. You don't need a PhD, but you absolutely have to know the fundamentals. And listen, the fundamentals can be super simple. A stock, that's you owning a tiny piece of a company. It's riskier, for sure, but the potential upside is basically unlimited. A bond, that's just a loan you're making. It's way safer, but your return is capped. That's the whole game right there, risk versus reward.
The third hurdle is forgetting that none of this is new. Whatever's happening in the market right now, it's happened before. Markets move in cycles. New investors freak out during turbulence because they don't realize this is just normal. The trick is to zoom out. Look at the past few decades, not the past few days.
And this leads to a huge paradox, something that feels totally backwards. High returns are your reward for taking big risks. So when the economy looks like it's falling apart and everyone is panicking, that's when things are cheap and future returns are highest. And when everything looks amazing and stocks feel safe, that's usually when returns are going to be lowest. You have to learn to be brave when everyone else is scared.
This brings us to what might be the hardest hurdle of all. You. It's the person staring back at you in the mirror. The famous cartoon character Pogo nailed it when he said, "We have met the enemy and he is us." Your own brain is often your worst enemy when it comes to investing.
Look, our brains are hardwired for short-term survival, like running from a tiger, not for long-term investing. We get overconfident, we think whatever just happened is going to happen forever, and our brains see patterns in what is actually just random noise. And that leads to the classic mistake, buying high when we're excited and selling low when we're terrified. The only solution? Put your plan on autopilot. Automate it so your emotions don't get a vote.
And finally, even if you conquer all your inner demons, there's one last hurdle. You gotta recognize that a huge chunk of the financial industry is not your friend. They're not there to help you, they're there to make a profit from you.
I mean, just look at this comparison. Your doctor has a legal fiduciary duty to act in your best interest. A stockbroker? Nope.
Their main skill isn't investing, it's selling. And they get rich by moving your money into their pockets through fees and commissions. The defense here is simple. Stick to those low-cost index funds and just ignore all the noise and sales pitches.
Okay, I know. That all sounds pretty intense, maybe even a little scary. But knowing what the hurdles are is the first step to clearing them. This isn't about being afraid, it's about being prepared. Your journey starts right now by taking control.
And I think Bernstein says it perfectly. He says his advice isn't a taxi that's just going to drive you to your destination. It's a map. It shows you the road, but you, and only you, have to actually make the journey.
So where do you start? What's the first step on the map? Before you even think about that 3-fund portfolio, you have to do these 3 things, and they have to be in this order. 1. Always get your full employer match on your 401k. It's free money. Seriously. 2. Get rid of your high-interest debt, credit cards, car loans, kill them. 3. Build up an emergency fund with 6 months of living expenses. Only then are you ready to start building real, long-term wealth.
Look, clearing these hurdles, it takes discipline, it takes some knowledge, and yeah, it takes courage. But the path to a secure financial future isn't some big secret. The recipe is simple, we now know what the challenges are, and the map, well, it's in your hands now. So the only question left is, where will you go?